Hello. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you are well. Hope you've had a good day. And thank you for joining. So, here we go, without a doubt. So, new theme tune tonight. Still Jackanory, slightly updated. Nice, huh? Okay, so where do we finish off yesterday? So Cinderella had obviously met her fairy godmother, had told her of her dilemma, was stuck with no invitation, no way to get to the ball, nothing to wear, all of that side of things. Fairy godmother pulls it out of the bag, sorts her out. Cinderella gets pumpkin, mice, everything to pull it all together, and basically gets everything sorted out. Cinderella is about to go to the ball. A little bit of a recap, last page. Cinderella's face was shining with joy. Oh, thank you, godmother, she cried. Thank you. Enjoy yourself at the ball, my dear, said her godmother, but there is one thing you must remember. You must be home before the clock strikes midnight. From the last stroke of 12, the coach will become a pumpkin again. Excuse me. The horses mice, the coachman a rat, the footman lizards, and you yourself the ragged girl you were. I will remember, said Cinderella, as her godmother kissed her goodbye. The footman opened the door of the carriage. Cinderella sat down, spread out her skirts on the red velvet cushions. The coachman touched the horse with his whip, and they were off to the ball. Turn the page. Here we go. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, she looked so beautiful that her ugly sisters did not know her. They thought she must be a princess from another country. They never thought of Cinderella, for they believed that she was sitting at home by the Cinders, because that's her name, Cinderella. The prince thought he had never seen such a beautiful princess. He came towards Cinderella, took her hand, and danced with her. Now I have to pause here because Lorna has just reminded me it's Thursday today. Is that right? I thought it was Wednesday. What day is it? Anyway, who knows? But feel free to comment as you come along. I will, when I see the comments come through, reply and wave and say hi to all you guys with kids out there. Thanks for joining. So, to recap, thanks, Miss Phillips. The prince thought he had never seen such a beautiful princess. He came towards Cinderella, took her hand, and danced with her. All evening, he would dance with no other maiden. Maiden being a fair lady, member of the opposite sex, beautiful person, woman, in those days, maiden, and he never let her out of the sight. If anyone else came to invite her to dance, the prince said, "This is my partner." Claiming his rights already. And here we see, look at that. Let's see, getting the light a bit. There is Cinderella dancing with her prince. He's quite a natty dresser, right? He's got it going on. He's got his nice little purple frock coat there, little gold lining, tight in those shoes. They're tight shoes, white tights. Less said about. And there she is, all in pink. And there you can see, look, two sisters there, like throwing shade at the back. Thank you, Jackie Parry. It is Thursday. Thank you very much for reminding me. I'm just losing it, right? Two sisters at the back there. It actually looks, you can't see, looks like one of them was on a mobile phone, but I'm sure she's not. Sure they didn't have mobile phones there, but hey, who knows? So, turn the page. TTP. Cinderella had never spent such a wonderful evening in her whole life, yet she still remembered her godmother's warning. Okay. At 11:45, she left the ballroom while the other guests were still dancing. Her carriage was waiting for her, and she was driven quickly home. She arrived at the door just as the clock was striking 12. So we now know, in terms of distance, 15-minute Uber ride from Palace via Pumpkin to Cinderella's house. On the last stroke of midnight, the coach became Pumpkin, the horses mice, the coachman a rat, and the footman lizards. and Cinderella's ball gown vanished. And she found herself once more in her old grey dress and, everyone who's been watching, what else? Yep, her wooden shoes. And here we go, right? There she is at the door. For those of you who have been watching, you can see the patch on the dress. Like Tuesday, it was quite small. Now it's like a good third of the dress. So don't know what's going on there. Wooden shoes. And there we go. The lizards going back to their cucumber frame. Just watch the previous videos. The mice is scattering off. And obviously there she is going inside, going to grab a tea, get to bed. TTP, turn the page. Thank you, Mr. Burrows. Ex-Campion man there, saying very entertaining. Used to go to school with him. Good chap. Cinderella sat down in the chimney corner to wait for her sisters. When they arrived home, they found Cinderella in her dirty clothes among the ashes, and a dim little oil lamp was burning on the mantelpiece. The ugly sisters could talk about nothing but the beautiful princess, who had looked far lovelier than any other lady at the ball. They described her gown and her slippers. They spoke of how the prince had danced with her all evening and how he would permit no other man to dance with her. Yet no one knew who she was. Cinderella listened to all of this, but she said nothing because it's her. But they don't know that. Shh, we all know, but she doesn't. It's our secret. And here you can see the two of them waxing lyrical about the princess, pretty upset. They didn't get a look in at all. And there's Cinderella knowing everything but keeping track. And look, there's the little oil lamp. They do follow everything in detail. Quite specific, right? Turn the page. On the next evening, the ugly sisters went off to the second ball. Now remember, there are 3 balls in the story, okay? The prince has got 3 balls. Leaving Cinderella sitting by the fire. No sooner had they gone than Cinderella's godmother appeared again. Just as before, her magic wand produced the golden carriage with its coachman and footman. This time, Cinderella's ball gown was even more beautiful than on the first evening. It was made of pale blue satin, with floating overskirts of pale blue net, embroidered with, get this, silver thread. Her pale blue slippers were embroidered in silver, and silver stars sparkled in her hair. Look, just like me, look, silver stars sparkling in my hair there. So a good sort of like blue silver sort of thing going on now. Bit better than the pink from the previous night. Once more, Cinderella thanked her godmother, who reminded her to be home by when? Yeah, midnight. Okay, 12 o'clock, midnight. Right, here we go. And there we see Cinderella in the blue with the net. Well, you can't see the net underneath, the net over the top, looking fierce. Fairy godmother still in the Welsh national dress, and the footman about to escort her off to the ball. Let's see what happens. When Cinderella arrived at the ball in the blue dress, everyone was astonished at her beauty. The king's son had waited until she came, and he instantly took her by the hand and danced with no one else but her. I've had that happen to me. When up down at Ilford Palais, when others came and invited her to dance, he said, "This is my partner." Cinderella was so happy, she almost forgot what her godmother had told her. When at last she did remember to look at the clock, it was 5 minutes to 12. 5 minutes. It was 15 before. We know that she did it before in 15. Uber pumpkin to the door, 15 minutes. She's got 5 minutes to get home. She left the prince and hurried out of the ballroom as quickly as she could. And here we see, now look, Prince is looking good there, right? Got a nice sort of like a mint sort of forest green thing going on there. And you can't, if you look really closely, look at the heels, red on the inside, a bit of Louboutin going on there, looking really nice. And of course, Cinderella is just, she's enraptured, right? Could she be falling in love? Could he be falling in love at the second of his balls? Turn the page. Cinderella's carriage was waiting for her, and they set off at speed. But they were only halfway home when the clock began to strike 12. On the last stroke of midnight, the carriage and horses, the coachman and footman vanished. Cinderella found herself in her old grey dress and, wooden shoes in the middle of a dark, lonely road. She had to run the rest of the way home as fast as she could. Even so, she just seated herself on a stool by the Cinders when her sisters returned from the ball. Once more, all the sisters could talk about was the beautiful stranger with whom the prince had danced. And here she is. Look at that. That's a terrifying road, right? Look at it. Clogging along, scraping up her big old hoofs on her wooden shoes, setting off sparks to get home. So there she is, desperate to get home. Let's see how it turns out. Almost there. On the evening of the third ball, now this is the final one, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. What's going to happen? Cinderella's fairy godmother appeared as soon as the ugly sisters had left. She's straight on there, right? When her godmother had touched her with the magic wand, Cinderella found herself in a gown, which was more splendid and magnificent than any she had yet had. It was made of silver and gold lace, which shimmered as she moved. On her feet were golden slippers. Diamonds sparkled at her throat, and her golden hair was held high by a dazzling diamond tiara. So let's just recap, right? Silver and gold lace shimmered as she moved. She was rocking it. On her feet were golden slippers. Diamonds sparkled at her throat, and her golden hair was held high by a dazzling diamond tiara. If I was her, I would just forget the ball, go to the nearest pawn shop, get rid of the lot, cash in, invest, right? Cinderella was so delighted, she hardly knew how to thank her godmother. "Enjoy yourself, my dear," said her godmother, "but do not forget the time." And look, I'm going to post this afterwards just so you can see a proper close-up. I can't get these angles right. I'm just like left-handed rubbish. But look at that. She's like smiling. She's happy. Her hair, look at that hair. Big old ball gown there, golden slippers, which obviously you can't see, but they are underneath. So there she is. As the godmother said, "Cinderella, enjoy yourself, my dear, but do not forget the time." Tomorrow night, Friday, thank you, Lorna, all the other guys, Friday night, it's going to be the final installment of Cinderella, and we're going to see just what happens because, as you know, she does forget the time. So please join me tomorrow, 7:15. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy whatever you do. Cuddle up close. Stay close with your loved ones. Enjoy yourself. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Cheers, guys. Bye.